Oh, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back, and we're talking a little transfer news, rumors, and everything else in between. Talking about players that should be staying, but we've heard that script before. Before we get into it, though, like, subscribe, drop your comments below, and listen. Thank you to all existing members. Graham, who's become a new member of the channel, shout out to you. Thank you to all the other existing members. Really does go a long way. The membership link is in the description or is next to the subscribe button called join. Listen. Clock's ticking, Mikey. It absolutely is, man. We are on the clock, man. What is it, next Friday? Next Friday is when this is all over. So we will know the state of play. And look, the comments lately, everyone is all up in the air. Let's face it, everyone, even people that are usually sensible in the comments, are starting to lose their heads a bit. And I understand. I'm there as well. My patience has run a little thin in terms of transfers coming in, but it's important that we do get business done. Absolutely important. But two things are true as well. The 11 that we are putting out with the few subs that we do have without injuries and suspensions should be doing better than they're doing right now. Both things are definitely true. Chris saying, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm a little unsettled today. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit unsettled, but, we all have those kind of days, don't we? So it is what it is. Aaron Leo saying we can't afford any more first team departures. I beg to differ, Aaron. There is definitely some first team departures we could benefit from and replace them. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. But listen, one in particular that we was going to speak about. I mean, I'm not sure where the rumor came out from, but Beren Cross has basically poo-pooed it. Ignore the sensationalism of the first bit. That that's old news, old dry news. But for Willy Gnonto, no transfer request has been submitted according to club sources. They expect him to stay. Now, obviously, we've heard this script before, and I'm gonna be on this as well. If we see him past the transfer deadline, cool. If not, it's another one that has bit the dust and he goes on elsewhere. But I understand they expect him to stay, but what we can't stop is a bid that is just unbelievable for a player like Willy Gnonto to come in and expect him to stay, or the club to reject the bid. So we will wait and see on this one. But as of present today, as we speak today, on the 19th of August, Willy Gnonto is to stay past the transfer deadline. So for me, unless there's anything concrete that comes in about Willy Gnonto, I will assume that he is staying, okay? Chris Richmond, shout out to you, who's become a new member of the channel. Much appreciate, Chris. Big up for the support. But with Willy Gnonto, people, he is the best technical player we have at the football club. And it's not even close either. There's no one on a technical level when it comes to Willy Gnonto in terms of dribbling skills, in terms of first touch, in terms of taking it past people, in terms of drawing players to him. There is no one else that we have like him at the club. He's the one left over, people. But he needs help. So he needs somebody now who can come in, help him out. He can't just be the focal point. It needs to be spread around a bit. And as we've seen so far in the games, especially in the last one, that 0-0 against West Brom, he would have the ball. He would be doing more defensive work. He'd have the ball, but there'd be no one up because we would be slow to get up as per manager instruction. Let's make that clear. But Willy Gnonto needs help. Apparently, we're going back in. Well, Beren Cross has said this in regards to Ljubicic, because Ljubicic, according to Kicker, he didn't, stay out. He didn't play for Cologne this weekend. He's decided to sit out with knee issues. So he's looking to obviously force a move elsewhere, whether it's Leeds United or elsewhere. We know that we had a bid knocked back for him a few weeks ago. Have Leeds United made murmurs to his agent to say, look, you're going to have to force a move through? Because like I've said to you guys, people, like I've said to you guys don't like it when players that play for this club do it to us, but you have to have players do it to other clubs in order for them to come a bit easier. You know what I mean? It works both ways. That's why I never get upset about these kind of things. If you need a player to make noise in order to make the transfer happen, do so. And it goes both ways for me, I'm afraid. I just don't see it the way that a lot of you guys do. But Ljubicic here, he apparently trained all week, was good to go. Then all of a sudden had knee issues. A bit like Somerville's hamstrings trained people. So we'll see if there's anything to do with this one. Look, Ljubicic for me is someone, I know that he scored a few goals in the Liga in previous years. Let me get up to him. Let me get up to him. I mean, in previous years, 22, 23, he had 5. The year before, he had 3. So, he's not prolific, in any way. And for me, he is a little bit more of a defensive midfielder, but it looks like he's got that kind of license that if he's able to get forward, can help out with a goal or two. I do wish we were going for a bit more of a more creative midfielder. I do. I wish that we was going for a bit more than just a box to box kind of guy with, unless it was like a Gabby Sara kind of type, who's box to box himself. But just someone with a bit more of a goal threat for me. I think we've got enough of these kind of midfielders, and like I said when we was linked with him before, when we had Glenn Kamara, it would have made no sense having Ampadu, what's his name, Gruev, Kamara, and Ljubicic. It's like having a whole pot of players that are basically the same. So we'll see if this is the one that goes forward. I do think we will get another midfielder at this point, but we shall see. We shall see. Jack saying, what kind of player is this guy? He's more of a. It's very weird to describe, but he's more of like a defensive midfield, central midfielder. So he's not going to play the 6, but he's more of a stay-at-home 8, which is for me why I would prefer a more roaming midfielder for me. But look, I'm not in charge of recruitment. It's not on me, but we shall see what kind of deal gets done. And yeah, he's in the last year of his deal, so that should make it a bit easier. I'm not sure if we were to go in for him, what's the delay with this, but yeah, we shall see. We shall see. What's Ryan saying? In my opinion, the Rutter deal slowed down because we're trying to get a player back from Brighton as part of the deal. I know what people are saying. Listen, Brighton have bid for Matt O'Reilly. I don't think that's got anything to do with Jorginho Rutter. I think it's a completely separate deal. Brighton have got the capital and the wiggle room and PSR to do so. I mean, Brighton are cooking up something nice there. Absolutely nice at Brighton, as they always do until they have to sell one of the pieces. But yeah, I think that deal was done. It may even get announced tonight, people. It may even get announced tonight. Could be tomorrow. Who knows? But we know that Jorginho Rutter, as per Daniel Farke himself, has said that he said his goodbyes and everything. So unless there's a collapse at the medical stage, I think the deal is done. Whether there's a player coming back or not, again, we shall see. But yeah, I don't think there's anything to the whole Matt O'Reilly thing interrupting Jorginho Rutter, I'm afraid. Let's have a look. What's people saying? Okay, so there we are. We move on with Ljubicic. Like I say, people, we're here for a good time, not a long time today. You know what I mean? Till we get something a little more concrete, a little bit more firm. One of those. Listen, Liam here saying, I was bigging up the 49ers at the start. Now I'm not so sure. Or yeah, look, the thing is with the 49ers at this point, and I've told you already before, I told you my thoughts on this. I think they've done a lot of good things. But if we get to the window and there isn't sufficient replacements in the building, then it's a different conversation. But the thing is with the 49ers, what they've got currently, what Daniel Farke hasn't got, they've got a little bit of time. Whereas Daniel Farke is playing football games in between the transfer deadline finishing. So whereas the 49ers could do something on the last couple of days and make the squad definitely more rounded with more quality, and then you go in, okay, I wish it didn't take so long, but they've got their job done. Daniel Farke at the moment he's having to get results at the moment while all the key players have gone, which I understand. But again, with Daniel Farke, he needs to get wins on the board. I mentioned it yesterday. At some point, we are going to go on a winning run. We will. And Daniel Farke will mention, I guarantee to you all, he will mention, well, it was tough at the start losing Cree and Georgie unexpectedly, and it was tough for the group. He will mention, I guarantee he's going to mention that, because we know what he's like. He loves an excuse. So, but he needs to get results in the meantime before this window shuts. It's important. We've just seen Sheffield Wednesday get absolutely clapped by Sunderland. I mean, they had a good day. Now they've had a bad day. What's their day going to be like on Friday against Leeds? We will find out. You know what I mean? But we should be going there winning the game. You know what I mean? But look, we'll preview that another time. Listen, both things are true. 49ers should be doing more, but so should Daniel Farke. And that's where I stand at this point in time. Yeah, I hear it, Ryan. It's so frustrating looking at Villa, Brighton, thinking it should be us. Yeah, it should be me. It should be me. Shout if you know what that is. But yeah, it should be us. Absolutely. I know you love it. I know. That's why. Look, I'm here. I'm here for you guys. I know you love it. Imagine if he does get sacked, though, man. We'll have to just let go of that impression. I get it. I get it. But yeah, listen, Ljubicic. The one that we need to speak about, obviously, is Jack Clarke. This one just keeps on rumbling and rumbling in the background. Joe Donahue earlier was talking about, and this is, for me, this is another wishy-washy kind of link, and much like Mike McGrath with his Leeds United are aware of Jack Clarke thing. I mean, awesome. But listen, Joe Donahue saying Elland Road return for Jack Clarke cannot be ruled out, as 23-year-old is on Leeds' radar. Premier League interest may not materialise and Sunderland contract extension isn't signed, but move is still unlikely. Leeds can't realistically compete with packages Premier League clubs can offer. That is true. Graham Bailey has just put this out. Don't know how reliable he is, but I thought I'd just add it into the update in that Jack Clarke is open to Leeds' return. Expectation that he leads Sunderland this month. The only thing with his price is that it's about 18 million, which, according from the Sunderland side, is maybe what, 25 they're looking at. They're thinking that they're going to get. So 18 probably seems a little low in terms of Graham Bailey. The thing I've always said with Jack Clarke, and some of you, I mean, I got to say, this is crazy. Crazy stuff I'm hearing, but Jack Clarke is better than Chris Somerville. No, he's not. On any level, he is not better than Chris Somerville. And listen, this isn't one basic football opinion. You know, when people say, well, if he was that good, he'd be in the Premier League like Chris Somerville. But I'm saying with Jack Clarke, he's now 23. He's going to be 24 in November. And he's had a couple of good years. Look, I'm not taking it away from Jack Clarke. He's had a couple of real good years. 22, 23, 9 goals, 12 assists. As we know, last season, 15 goals, 4 assists in a fairly poor Sunderland team, has to be said. And he started the season with a goal and assist. Not taking it away from Jack Clarke. The thing is, for me, it's a weird one. If a Premier League team doesn't come in for him, and it is Leeds United that get him, it does speak volumes for me. Because there's just something missing. You know, that little something missing from Jack Clarke. But I'm saying I do think that he's possibly a Premier League player, but it's more in the vein of like a Jack Harrison, Dwight McNeil. I think he's more on that kind of level. I think that's the best way I can explain it. I think that he'd probably be a low-level Premier League footballer. I just think that there's something missing from Jack Clarke's game that doesn't make me think, oh, yeah, I can see why these clubs wanted Somerville. I can see why these clubs wanted Jorginho, Rutter. But look, Jack here saying, I don't think Jack Clarke has any Prem potential, really. Yeah, there's just something. Yeah, there's just something about him, and I can't put it on. Yeah, Sam, you know what? That probably what it is. He's probably a bit too lightweight for me. It's just a little bit too light on the ball, but he's a good ball carrier. Can't take that away from him. Ryan here saying, I take Clarke back. He's a solid player at this level, correct, but I don't see us paying the coin for him. Yeah, and it all depends on what they're asking for, isn't it? I mean, the thing is as well, the only thing that gives me a little bit of, not hope, that's the wrong word to use. You know, I'm not laying all my eggs in the Jack Clarke basket here, but is that we've thought that there's certain deals that are going to be very expensive, and then you hear the transfer fee and you go, is that all? And obviously the latest one is Schmadix at 9 million, which is incredible business to sell him for 9 million pounds, and that's a very low risk kind of transfer, and he'll easily transfer back into the Championship if Ipswich are to be relegated, no problem. So yeah, it's one of those where you need to look out for the price. And if it is an expensive one and it stops you then from getting a left back, a central midfielder, it's a tough one for me. Tough one. But we do need help. But what I don't want to see is us getting desperate and just overbidding. Like Daniel Farke's already said himself, yet again, Daniel Farke's words is that we are not going to be people's banks. So we shall see on that, because we are starting to get a little desperate. Yeah, FB, I'm more on this one as well. Uncut diamonds from Europe. Yeah, I would much prefer that. Honestly, if you're giving me the choice, I would much prefer an uncut gem from Europe, wherever. And people are like, oh, who is this guy? And then he comes in and just smashes it. Because the thing is, that's what's happened with Coventry's recruitment. No one had really heard of Van Erwijk before, and all these guys, Gyökeres. But look at them now. You know, Van Erwijk, I'm surprised he's still in this division. He is amazing. Amazing right back, absolutely brilliant. And you know, I think he scored a goal just the other night. Very composed. Yeah, he scored the other night against Oxford. Very composed. But yeah, it doesn't matter if you haven't heard of him. It's about the quality of the player. You know, how many of us had heard of Rafinha before we got linked with him? Not many. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's one of those for me. Look, Jack Clarke, we know that his agent, of course, is our old boy Ian Hart. So that may have a little factor in why the news is just so widespread. but it's another one of those wait and sees, I think. What's everyone saying, no, man? Yeah, exactly. Remember that guy, Rafinha? Yeah, Jorginho too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to have heard of the player to think it's going to be a good or bad deal. I would always just say wait and see. Thing is with Jack Clarke, and this is nothing again. This I like Jack Clarke. It's just not one I'm going to be popping the celebration poppers for. But League One. I mean, that wasn't that long ago, and I remember that spell: 1 goal and 3 assists in League One just a few years ago. Obviously, he's getting better, but remember, he was also at Stoke before, when he was on loan from Spurs and everything. Yeah, maybe a late bloomer, fair enough. But yeah, it's one of those where I'm just like, all right, man. Yeah, cool. But we shall see. We shall see. You know what I mean? JJ. Bringing up Rafinha when we are down here is so sad. I understand. I'm just trying to give examples. You know what I mean? Because I know what will happen. We don't get Jack Clarke. We sign a winger from the Eredivisie or somewhere, and people are like, "Well, who's this? Who's this? Oh, you're doing it cheap." You know what I mean? So we shall see. Uh, let's have a look here. Yeah. And that's it. That's basically it, people. That is where that is where we're at. We've got nothing concrete. The transfer window ends next Friday. We need bodies in, as per Daniel Farke, and obviously just from the look of the squad, I think we've got 20 senior players. We need to flesh out the squad because we're not always going to have a strongish bench that we've got right now. We're going to get injuries. We're going to get suspensions, and then obviously you're moving that up. Your bench looks even worse. You're probably having to put those 2 goalkeepers back on the bench again. So we do need to get business done. It's imperative we do. Honestly, and I think a sign at this point, people just give everyone a lift, maybe the players too, but more so the fans. I think we need a lift more than anything. Let me tell you, it's been real tough doing these the past few days. Not because of you guys. I mean, the temperature is what it is, but it's just that I don't know what to say. The only thing I would say is that the people that keep talking about us being relegation candidates, yeah, just there's just no middle ground with these people, is there? If you think we're going to miss the top 6, not because the players aren't good enough, but because you think other factors are at play, I understand that. But if you think that we are going to get relegated or near the bottom with this team, yeah, you just obviously like the chaos, because we are not going to be anywhere near the relegation zone with this team. It's just not going to happen. But we should be making sure that we're in the top 2 conversation. And right now, yeah, it's looking a little bleak, isn't it? It's looking a little bleak. Yeah, I understand that, Alex. I get that. I get that. I get that. Yeah, it's not relegation, yeah, but just people just go from one extreme to the other. And one week they would have said we're winning the league, 2 players go, all of a sudden we're going to get relegated. You're always going to get that kind of person in life, aren't you? But listen, that is it. That is it, people. That is it for the show. That's the latest update. That's everything. If there's anything to come back, well, I'll come back with another stream later tonight if there's anything that breaks. Otherwise, it will be tomorrow. Listen, please like the video before you go. Drop your comments on anything discussed today, and I'll see you in the next one, people. Peace out.